Leadership is a trait that can be held by an individual or group in which they are advancing the lives of others through example or communication toward a goal shared by themselves and those following them. Change is the purpose of the leader, and in my own leadership style of transformational, I strive to be the change that those who will follow me need. In my mission statement, I iterate this philosophy in saying, I, Brian White, will strive to enhance the lives of everyone that I come into contact with, lead the lost, and be great. I will keep a positive mental attitude and continue to speak the things that I want in life into existence. I chose to do my project on Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. In it, a group of old friends is gathered for dinner, and the topic of conversation gets on to change in career, relationships, and family life. One of those present contends that change no longer bothers him after having heard a funny little story called Who Moved My Cheese? In this artful way, Spencer Johnson introduces the reader to his fable on how to cope positively with change. The story involves four characters who live in a maze: the mice, Scurry and Sniff, and two little people, Him and Haw. All is going well because they have found a huge source of their favorite food, cheese. Him and Haw have even moved their houses to be near it, and it has become the center of their lives. But they do not notice that it is getting smaller and smaller each day, and are devastated when they arrive at the site one morning and find that all the cheese is gone. This is where the story splits in two. Scurry and Sniff quickly accept the loss of the cheese and go off into the maze in search of other sources. The little people, however, because they have built their lives around the big cheese, feel that they are a victim to some kind of fraud or theft. Yet this only makes things worse. As their clinging on ensues that they go hungry. Meanwhile, the mice move on and find new cheese. The fable captures well that moment after we have lost a job or a relationship and we believe it is the end of the world. All the good things were in the previous situation and all the future holds is fear. Yet Johnson's message is, instead of seeing change as the end of something, we must learn to see it as the beginning. We have all been told this, but sometimes motivation is lacking. To make himself accept reality, Hall writes this on one of the walls of the maze. If you do not change, you can become extinct. For life not to be wasted, it demands a level of risk and adventure. If you are willing to live this way, change loses that horror. In fact, the advancing person purposely creates change because the world is not currently how they would like it. What the little men, Him and Haw, discover is that breaking through your fears makes you free. Those who continually seek security, ironically, are racked by the possibility that they may lose it. I interviewed 4 of my teammates to find out what kind of person they were. The go-getter, one who embraces change, or the complacent guy, one who feared change.
Agnew, sophomore.
Would you rather wait 30 to 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
I'd rather cook my own food.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until it is found and just go along with it?
I'm usually the one looking for solutions.
Do you usually try new ways of doing everyday tasks, or do you generally stick to what has worked in the past?
I like to stick to what's working in the past.
Do you tend to feel more comfortable / confident working alone or in a group?
I'd say alone. I'm Ray Clark. I'm a freshman.
All right. Would you rather wait 30 to 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
I'd probably cook my own food.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until it is found and just go along with it?
I look for solutions when there's a problem.
Do you usually try new ways of doing everyday tasks, or do you generally stick to what has worked in the past?
Usually stick to the same thing every day.
Do you tend to feel more comfortable / confident working alone or in a group?
I like working in a group.
3-month guy, sophomore.
Okay. Would you rather wait 30 to 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
I'll cook my own food.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until one is found and then go with that?
Look for a solution.
Do you usually try new ways of doing everyday tasks, or do you do what do you generally stick to what has worked in the past?
I try to find new ways
Do you tend to feel more comfortable / confident working alone or in a group?
in a group.
Jonah Hodges Jr.
All right. Would you rather wait 30 or 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
Probably wait.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until one is found and then go with that?
I'll look for new solutions.
Do you usually try new ways of doing everyday tasks, or do you stick to what has worked in the past?
I'd probably look for new tasks.
Do you tend to feel more comfortable or confident working alone or in a group?
More confident alone.
After hearing the story, which mouse do you identify with and why?
I identify with mouth with
Brian White, sophomore.
All right, Brian. Would you rather wait 30 to 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
I'd probably rather wait 30 to 45 minutes.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until one is found and just go along with it?
Look for solutions.
Okay. Do you usually try new ways of doing everyday tasks, or do you generally stick to what has worked in the past?
As far as everyday tasks, I probably stick to what I know. If I feel the need to try something new, then I'll do that.
Okay. Do you tend to feel more comfortable or confident working alone in a group or in a group?
Alone, probably.
Following the interview, I informed each person on the background of the story and then asked them to identify themselves with a character. Here are their answers.
Okay, Jamal, so after hearing the story, which mouse do you think you identify with and why?
I would say mice number one. Well, the mice that left because, I'm always looking for more. There's so many opportunities out there in the world, so, you just got to take risks sometimes, even if it doesn't go your way.
All right, cool. After hearing the story, which mouse do you identify with and why?
I identify with the mouse that stayed, just because I'm thankful for everything I have, and that's what I know.
Okay, so after hearing the story, which mouse do you identify with and why?
I identify with the mouse that left because I need to go get it.
Okay, so after hearing the story, which mouse do you identify with and why?
I identify with mouse one because I feel like going out and finding a new solution would be the best answer for the question.
So after hearing the story, which mouse do you identify yourself with and why?
I would say a little bit of both, actually, more so with mouse number one, because I am, more of a go-getter. But on the same hand, people say all the time, stick to what you know, stick to what you know. And it could have went both ways, but I would have to say mouse number one.
Unsurprisingly, most all of those interviewed identify with the mouse that seeks change, the go-getter. But in the questioning before, nearly everyone stated that they are more inclined to sticking to what has worked in the past. I find this to be very interesting. Prior to telling them the outcome of change and how positive it can be, everyone seemed to share the common sense that sticking to what you know is best. In other words, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But once they were informed of the great abundance change brought, they all switched. Well, all but Mr. Clark. The purpose of the activity was to bring a subconscious effort into play, to spark the idea that change is good, even if in the past what you have been doing so habitually has worked. I hope to transform the minds of these young men in order to make them begin to look for the new cheese themselves.
So after hearing the story, which mouse do you identify with and why?
I forgot the story.
Identify with and why?
I identify with
Female sophomore.
Okay. Would you rather wait 30 to 45 minutes for a table or cook your own food?
Cook my own food.
When a group problem or task arises, are you usually the one to look for solutions or wait until one is found and then just go along with that?
I'm the one to look for the solutions.